he was started like to backhand Zabuza because Zabuza started becoming like conflicted and Kakashi started getting mad. And he started like to backhand Zabuza. Zabuza started becoming.
He did a whole 360 off that hit. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to BNL Reactions. Today we're looking at Sasuke versus Kakashi. We're gonna see who's gonna win. My money. Also, this is by Seththeprogrammer. My money is on Sasuke. Kakashi is pretty powerful, but Sasuke overlapped him when he was a teenager, so definitely he can't beat the older Sasuke. And like even the war arc Sasuke, I don't know if Kakashi could even really do something against him either. I don't know. But all the pre-war arc, it'll be a good match. Even though Sasuke fought Kakashi and what's the old girl name? Sakura, and he damn near took both of them out single-handedly. So I don't know. We're gonna see what you got to say about this though. So let's go ahead and get started.
Money making season and being broke is treason.
Dang.
Hello, everyone.
I forgot how hard of a hit that was.
Hello, everyone. It's Seththeprogrammer. With me today, I have Swagkage.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, also known as Chuck or Clyde. And yep, today we're doing Sasuke versus Kakashi for no particular reason. I just thought it was interesting. Kind of see them start to scrap off in the Five Kage Summit at the very end. It's implied that Kakashi's gonna have to fight him like Hiruzen fought Orochimaru. Stuff like that. So we don't want to talk about the Five Kage Summit too much, as it does seem pretty clear that Sasuke in the Five Kage Summit, by the time he has the Susanoo and is fighting Danzo, would probably win. While Kakashi could absorb an arrow with his Mangekyo, how
one
many
arrow
arrows can Sasuke
just one
shoot?
does it.
Kakashi would have to use Kamui to avoid. It seems like it's way easier for Sasuke to fight than Kakashi. Also, Sasuke's speed with that form is just so insane that Kakashi cannot react normally. He has to react with Mangekyo Kamui. So it's very clear that Sasuke probably wins that fight pretty much most of the time, unless you think Kakashi like Kamui's his head off. It's always something that could happen, you know, who knows, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if you were to do it in like an RPG, it would be like a 1% to hit. You know?
yeah, like a hard to hit, one-hit KO Pokemon move or something.
Yeah.
So the other thing we're gonna be talking about, I suppose, then, is we want to talk about Pain Arc Kakashi versus Itachi fight Sasuke, which is probably more interesting, and there's a lot more things to talk about. So I guess I'll let you start since I had like a 2-minute intro here.
So I feel like if these two are in character, it probably wouldn't like go to the death unless something crazy happened, right? Because Sasuke at this point in the story is portrayed as like kind of more heroic and stuff, doesn't like to kill people.
Heroic is a strong
like,
title.
Even kill the goons that Orochimaru sends at him to practice. He like
unless you think he was gonna Kirin murder all of Team 7, then yeah.
Maybe. So the way that you can justify that is like maybe he was just gonna call Kirin to scare them and make them leave.
Maybe,
which I don't think is unlikely given what he does later,
another narrative thing that someone else brought up to me is that, you know, I was talking to people about Sakura's narrative and, you know, trying to justify Sasuke's behavior, and is it like toxic for the heroes to always chase after him, blah blah blah, why is he trying to kill them? And one of the reasons he wants to kill these characters is because he wants to cut off the past completely so he can feel unhindered in his path to be an Avenger and do his thing, where he feels like he needs to find his own path of power, and he feels like these relationships, because they exist, they can hold him back, which might explain why he might launch a Kirin at Team 7, or, you know, be like, oh, Kakashi, I wanted to kill you really bad, or like, you know, stuff like that, or like Naruto, I need to cut you off and murder you.
Bro, Kakashi literally has nothing to stop Kirin. He can't stop Kirin at all. He has nothing to deflect it. He can't move out the way of it. You know what I'm saying? Itachi could barely move out the way of it. Granted, Itachi was dying, had like cancer or something, and he was just in a fight, used up all his chakra, and he still was able to pull out a way to instantaneously block it because he had the Yada mirror and all that. But he had to pull that out his butt, bro. Like he had to really pull for that. So Kakashi has nothing to stop Kirin with. So if he used Kirin, it's definitely over.
Launch a Kirin at Team 7 or be like, oh, Kakashi, I wanted to kill you really bad, or like stuff like that, or like Naruto, I need to cut you off and murder you at the end, or I need to kill Sakura or something like that. That could be reasons why, but maybe you could argue he's heroic and you wouldn't want to, but it doesn't really matter.
The other thing, I guess the other thing for that is that at this point he had like completed his training, right? So like he didn't really need to like not think about them because he was gonna go fight Itachi regardless. But yeah, like you were saying, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So if we assume that they're fighting to the death, then for some reason, like Kakashi stole Sasuke's like nutter butter.
Nutter butter.
The reason I'm like hung up on this so much is because this fight completely changes if they use like Kirin and Kamui. Right.
Okay.
So if you think they fight in character and stuff, these like battle ender like ultimate abilities don't really come up. They probably don't try to kill each other. I definitely don't think Kakashi tries to kill Sasuke. It's questionable whether or not Sasuke would try to kill Kakashi, but I'm leaning towards he probably wouldn't pre-Kage Summit. But if you are assuming that it's like the gloves are off, then I guess we can just talk about that.
I mean, it depends anyway, because for Kakashi, he tends to, so this is his whole thing throughout the entire series, even against Zabuza when he was rusty, is he always holds back. Like almost always holds back. One of the only times we see him not holding back is when he's saving someone else, or after the death of Edo Zabuza, where he says, all right, I'm mad. Like, I'm actually gonna go all out. Like, this war needs to go. Like, and it's actually explained in the data book that he never uses strength unless it's needed, which also explains one of the reasons in the Zabuza fight, like after Zabuza.
It is interesting. I never really noticed that he always hold back. I always just thought that, as the series went on, he just got stronger, and the author of the series just gave him better powers over time. I didn't really think about, oh yeah, he was actually holding back in all these fights, which makes a lot of sense now that they bring it up.
It's needed, which also explains one of the reasons in the Zabuza fight, like after Zabuza killed Haku, or he killed Haku and then Zabuza tried to slash him, why he was started like to backhand Zabuza, because Zabuza started becoming like conflicted and Kakashi's getting mad. He started like to backhand Zabuza. Zabuza started becoming.
He did a whole 360 off that hit.
Why he was started like to backhand Zabuza, because Zabuza started becoming like conflicted and Kakashi's.
Oh man!
He's like, no, dude, you need to wake up a bit. Like,
yeah, that boy do a windmill. He had him doing a barrel roll,
stuff like that. But a good example of this is when fighting Kakuzu, he never whips out the MS, and he only implies he was going to whip it out at the end when Kakuzu was going to blast him when he's on the ground with fire. And then he's like, yes, I could have beat Kakuzu with MS, but I'd be in the hospital right now, and I was trying not to. So you could argue the same for Sasuke, that he just would not use the MS at first. Whereas Sasuke might not use Curse Mark 2 at first, and with Kirin, he doesn't use that until he's out of chakra at the very end, which was his grand plan versus Itachi. Yeah. It's because he doesn't require pretty much really any chakra of significant amount to control Kirin to launch at his foes while they're both exhausted. And it's like an insanely powerful jutsu even without his chakra. So
I definitely think it's more likely that he uses CS2 than it is that Kakashi uses Kamui. Like, even if it is a death match. So they're definitely both like at that like Akatsuki level bare minimum, because like Kakashi's clashing with Kakuzu and Sasuke's fighting Deidara. But they both like lose, and it's like you said, it's implied that they have to bring out like their next level abilities in order to actually keep up. Like Sasuke needs CS2 and Kakashi needs Kamui.
Right. One argument you might be able to make is that, Sasuke might be implied to be able to fight in that Kakuzu battle and potentially win.
Yeah.
Really?
Somewhat implied by Kakashi and Naruto, where Naruto feels inferior to Sasuke and still inadequate about his performance while thinking about Sasuke after beating Kakuzu with the Rasen Shuriken, possibly implying that Sasuke would have done better. And which is crazy because Kakashi's like, wow, dude, like, you even surpassed me in that fight, which, granted, he did technically do more damage to Kakashi than Kakashi, but as we know, Kakashi might have been able to pretty much almost solo with the Mangekyo, whereas Naruto couldn't with his Rasenshuriken. So.
I'm just gonna say, I don't think Kakashi was being, like, honest, whether it was with himself,
maybe he just meant
or
like
whatever.
the normal Sharingan version or something.
Yeah, but there, I think that he was just being humble, saying that Naruto
trying to make him feel
surpassed
better,
him.
maybe.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, also, I think, like, Kakashi may have genuinely believed it, even if it's not true, because the Rasen Shuriken is extremely impressive.
Right, maybe he just meant the power of that surpassed him, even.
Yeah, I don't think that if they were to scrap hand-to-hand that Naruto would actually beat up Kakashi.
Kakashi don't have nothing on the scale of Rasen Shuriken. Like, his Chidori Lightning Blade stuff, it doesn't scale to the Rasen Shuriken. It scales to regular Rasengan. It doesn't scale to Rasen Shuriken.
That if they were to scrap hand-to-hand that Naruto would actually beat up Kakashi unless he used like a bajillion clones.
Which is pretty confidently secured with the Pain arc, where 3 Tomo Sharingan Kakashi seems to be way stronger than base Naruto. In fact, some people debate about Kakashi versus Sage Naruto in that arc, which I do think Sage Naruto wins, but
I think Sage Naruto slaps him.
Yeah, but it's very clear that
I do too.
Kakashi's still stronger than base Naruto. Like, you know.
I think that the Kakashi Pain stuff is extremely impressive, but not as impressive as a lot of people make it out to be. Now, I've talked about this to gas Kakashi up in the past before.
Yep.
How Kakashi does fight these stronger pains, because
at full
like
power
Jiraiya looks at
as well.
Yeah, Jiraiya looks at these, like, it's the Preda animal, and what's the other one? Is it the Naraka one?
Yeah,
I think it's the Preda animal and Naraka, and like, these are not, like, these are bum paths.
The weakest ones, pretty much, for the most part. Yeah.
You
called them bums.
The I think if, like, you swapped out animal for human, then it would probably be the 3 weakest. But
we can at least agree, though, that the Asura and Tendo are probably the strongest. And
yeah, I agree with that. And, like, Jiraiya looks at them and he's like, he literally says, I can't damage them.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even fight them. And then Kakashi is able to fight, like, Tendo and Asura. And, like, Asura, like, rips off Jiraiya's arm. Now, we've talked about this before. Maybe Jiraiya was off guard there. I think it's really weird because he says a whole thing to Jiraiya. He's like, you warned me not to. So this is the weirdest statement ever, because he literally says, you warned me not to lower my guard, sensei. But then Jiraiya literally hears that and still gets beat up and, like, his arm ripped off. So it's like, even if he was caught off guard, which is, like, definitely implied by the statement, the fact that he heard the whole sentence and still couldn't even, like, put up his, like, chakra
couldn't even react to it
or whatever in time is, like, mad weird. So in any case, like, Kakashi's able to Raikiri this thing, not completely kill it. It can still shoot missiles, but, like, blow it up. So you could argue that maybe he's doing better than Jiraiya. But the thing is, Pain's not going all out.
Yep.
Pain is like, I kind of need to know where Naruto is. Can you tell me? Kakashi's not cooperating. And then he's like, oh, okay, you're a little bit of a problem. I'm just going to kill you. And then he
just two-taps him pretty much. So
yeah, Kakashi's just out of the equation. So now I do think it's very impressive that he was able to get Pain to, like, recognize him as a threat and say, oh, I need to get rid of you. But it's disingenuous to say that he was, like, beating up Tendo and
what's
Asura
even
by
crazier
himself.
is that the Tendo Pain is able to stab Kakashi and damage him faster than anyone in the series we've seen. Like, no, not joking. I think he does it faster than anybody. The only other, like, examples are, like, say, Madara ripping out his eye or something when he's, like, fatigued on the ground or something, you know? But, like, full power Kakashi, Pain, it messes him up faster than pretty much anybody just by himself while trying not to kill him. So
yeah,
he actually dodges his Raikiri point blank as well while doing it. So it's clearly not that crazy, but it also depends, how strong do you think Kakashi gets after the Pain arc? You know, do you think that every fight his Mangekyo and his Sharingan massively evolve, which might be somewhat implied by Obito saying, oh, so you've mastered your Sharingan, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But if you don't think he's gotten that much stronger,
I don't know if I
Kakashi
think that
does react to MS Susanoo Sasuke's arrow, which would speed blitz anything Sasuke's done before that. So if you don't think Kakashi got that much stronger, then Kakashi would probably stomp CM2 Sasuke or speed blitz him pretty badly.
Yeah.
Which maybe it makes sense if you think that even, Pain would do extremely well in the Kage Summit as well, which might be narratively implied. And then, you have Kakashi keeping up with Kage somewhat, Sasuke with his MS somewhat. So that depends as well on how much you think Kakashi's grown. Some people like to think he grows astronomically. Some people think he doesn't really grow that much at all.
Exponentially by the war arc time.
It depends.
It's not really stated. It's one of those things where like how much, like what do you think, right? And so what I think is, I think that he got stronger, but the amount is unquantifiable.
Yeah.
But what I think really matters there is that like when he stumbles back, like after he does it,
yes.
like he's clearly like.
Why his eye look like that? His eye is like more. It's mostly black instead of being mostly red. Like, yeah, look at it. His eye is mostly black right here. It's supposed to be mostly red. It's supposed to be reversed. The symbol is supposed to be black and then red's supposed to be red. Why is his eye color reversed like that?
He stumbles back like after he does it.
Yes.
Like he's clearly like shaken just by trying to even like. And it's not like the force, like the concussive force or whatever caused him to stumble. It's like he struggled to catch the Susanoo arrow in time because of how fast it was.
Yes.
Whereas like he didn't really have trouble doing that with like the Asurapath's missile. Like Kamui has never really been a thing where he's like, oh, like I need like. He doesn't need to be like too much faster than his opponent for it, right? So like Kakazu, when he goes into his like final mode or whatever, like blitzes him like with the tentacles, and then Kakashi's still like, yeah, but I could have killed him after that, right? So like even if Kakazu could have moved or something, he was just fine. And then like there's the thing with the Asurapath. He was able to sneak up on Sage Jiraiya, and then like Kakashi's able to like react to that like missile and like teleport it away. So the fact that he was like that I got that close to him, like, or that it still forced him to stumble. I feel like that's like maybe it's less of a feat for Kakashi and more of like a thing for Sasuke, because he's able to like intercept like Madara like summoning the Ghetto Madara.
I understand what you're saying. The reason it is a feat for me for Kakashi is like, while I think it's a feat for Sasuke, definitely, it pretty much it confirms that Sasuke is completely different than anyone Kakashi's fought up to this moment, because Kakashi's never been like, I had to whip out the MS right there or I died. He's never said that about really anything, maybe except for like the very end of the Kakasu fight, but that was like end of battle when he's like fatigued. Different. But the reason it's impressive for me is because base Sharingan Sasuke in that Kage Summit is stronger than his Curse Mark II form, where Karin says his chakra is thicker and colder than it ever was in Curse Mark II just now.
No, I agree.
And then on top of that, he then whips out the dual MS, and then he gets even stronger while fighting Danzo, and his Susanoo only evolves further than that. So he's getting amps upon amps upon amps. And then Kakashi reacts to the Susanoo arrow, which would blitz anything Sasuke did before, which is like, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think that Kamui is just one of those things that's like hacked out, and like, I think that like his reaction speed is like, so you know how like Sasuke is not actually as fast as the Raikage, but he's able to dodge the Raikage's like elbow bolt and like tag him. But then, like, he has to use the MS to, like, block the Raikage's attacks because he can't actually move out of the way. I think it's sort of like that.
That's when he goes version 2. So what happens is that in version 1, he's, like, fighting the Raikage with, like, his Sharingan. And then he goes, like, version 2, and then he basically starts, like, teleporting out of the way of, say, the Amaterasu.
Yeah, but you know how Sasuke's still able to, like, use, like, Amaterasu to, like, protect himself.
Chop his ass.
I guess he's able to do, like, jutsu activation in time or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that, like, Kakashi's, like, able to see it and, like, just activate Kamui instantly. But it's not, like, a comfortable use of it.
So, I guess if Kakashi is willing to use Kamui, his activation speed of it is just so insanely cracked that he could just always like avoid any fatal blow from Curse Mark II if it was needed.
Yeah. Now, what I will also say to support the idea that he got stronger is he isn't just out of commission as soon as he uses Kamui there, like he says he would have been in the Kakazu fight. So he definitely got way stronger from the Kakazu fight, where he's like at a point where Kamui is like a safe thing for him to use. right? Like without instantly collapsing.
Well, the thing about the Kakuzu fight that's weird is that, like, with the MS at least, because I believe versus Deidara, he tries to use the Kamui more than once, but versus Kakuzu, what needs to happen for him to win is he needs to at least Kamui the fire style. That was gonna, like, blow him away. And then he has to use his MS to beat Kakuzu after that. So, I don't know. I do think he could use it at least more than once. And in the pain fight, he also uses it, I think, more than once.
You really threw a needle at him. That's
he
crazy.
uses that to save himself from, like, the nail and then Choji, yeah. But that does kill him.
Yeah, so, but not only does he use it to deflect the nail and then save Choji, but he does that, like, when he's so incapacitated that he can't even, like, get out of rubble. You know what I mean? Like, after using...
Yeah, so I actually think this supports what I was saying, that he just has, like, an insanely amped, like, reaction time, like, with Kamui or whatever. Because, like, Pain, like you said, like, hits him and beats him up faster than anybody else.
And before
that
the
makes
MS
sense.
gives him Obito-level reactions. You remember how they were, like, linked in the war arc? That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But...
No, but,
it's
like,
crazy.
you know how, like, Pain was, like, blitzing him and stuff, and then, like, Pain shoots a nail at him and Kakashi just reacts to it. And it's a, like, slow motion, too, in the anime. So, like...
Yeah.
Maybe his Kamui is just, like, really, really fast.
Yeah, MS Kakashi might just be crazy, too. And then remember, like, MS Kakashi was, like, going, like, sicko mode, like, against even, like, Ten Tails Madara and stuff, too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. MS Kakashi might just be crazy. Like, maybe that's why dual MS Kakashi was, like, god tier. Like, let's be honest, but,
Like, he didn't even get a 6-pass amp. It's actually just... Sorry.
it's just like, wow, I could use my MS for more than 0.1 milliseconds. Like, yeah, so, I don't know. Honestly, MS Kakashi might just be insanely broken. But,
I think it's, like, a defensive
yeah,
thing, though,
but,
you know, what I mean?
then it's like, okay, that aside, you know, that MS, you know, cracked mode aside, how well does Kakashi do normally, you know? And that's where it becomes a little bit harder to be like, oh, you know, like, oh, I think Kakashi.
Because Sasuke's tough.
Yeah, because, you know,
Sasuke is
it
extremely
somewhat
tough.
narratively implied, like, yeah, like, Sasuke is probably, like, above the normal Akatsuki members. And even the data book, which I said this in my previous recording, which didn't get uploaded, but there's a databook statement that says, you know, Sasuke's power exceeds the Akatsuki. And one way I interpreted that was, you know, maybe he doesn't have the chakra or the jutsu to, say, be the strongest shinobi, such as he doesn't have Amaterasu and he can't use a catastrophic Shinra Tensei or Chibaku Tensei or anything of that. But, you know, maybe, like, base to base, you know, if Sasuke, you know, shot a fireball jutsu in Curse Mark 2, against, you know, and say Tendo Pain shot a fireball jutsu back, well, maybe Sasuke's would be stronger, you know, like it was in the Itachi fight. And just because Sasuke doesn't have the insane chakra reserves or techniques that the others have, that he can't overall be the strongest, but maybe base to base he was. Which is, I don't necessarily agree with, but it does seem like if the data book even has the audacity to word it that way, that maybe Sasuke is like high tier Akatsuki level almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, like, I think that all it's trying to say is that he's stronger than
like the average, you know? Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, I think he's like above Akatsuki level, which, let's be honest, so are Pain and Itachi.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that'd be supported by Obito being like, you know, I forgot you're a member of the Akatsuki, Conan. I should probably take you seriously. And then,
Yeah.
goes all out. So maybe Akatsuki level is like an actual level in their brains. And then they're like, yeah, Sasuke is stronger than that. So up to you guys to decide on that. That's just one way I interpreted it myself. So I would say, on average, that Sasuke is stronger than Kakashi.
Yeah, like, if they have, like, a fireball jutsu clash, Sasuke's winning that, like, 1,000,000,000%.
Exactly. And if they had a boxing match, Curse Mark 2 is probably going to win the boxing match. But maybe, just maybe, you know, if Kakashi's like, I'm gonna die, and he just turns on his, like, god mode, top tier in the verse, MS reaction ability, and Kamui's him to death, then he wins. So, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Why don't he go blind? Why can he just spam Kamui like this and he hasn't gone blind yet? I think he just started going blind or something, like in the war arc. But you've been doing Kamui all your life like that and you ain't go blind yet?
So
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's all there needs to be said. I don't know if you have anything else, but I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we've kind of gone over everything. I guess I agree with you about how the fight would go, right? I think that Sasuke would like overpower Kakashi. I think it would actually be pretty even for the most part, like pre CS2, because like Sasuke's stronger, like base to base, and Kakashi's like smarter. But like Sasuke's still smart, but Kakashi's like giga genius, mega mind.
Yeah.
Giga
Something that
genius.
kind of supports it too is that, you know, like look at Naruto and Sakura versus Kakashi. They literally could not take a bell off of his waist for an entire day while he kind of like. Well,
they cheated. They had to cheat to do it.
While he didn't, you know, fully mess around. It's like Sakura's the girl who was avoiding Sasori, and you know Naruto's like pretty relative.
And she didn't train at all before then, so she couldn't have gotten stronger.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, and then, you know, then you have Sasuke kind of like come down. It's implied he could beat them too, even before Curse Mark 2. But then it's like, okay, so what's better? Sasuke in base kind of like wiping out Team 7 like in a serious fight pretty fast, or Kakashi holding out for a whole day? And it's like, maybe Curse Mark 2 is kind of better, like, you know, low-key, you know, like, but that's just my opinion.
I think so.
I agree with that. I think as soon as Sasuke, even Curse Mark 1 would start to overwhelm Kakashi.
Oh, here's some good scaling, I guess. This is some old school Seth scaling, you know? You got that, you remember that statement from Orochimaru, like, you're nothing compared to Sasuke and that form.
Yeah. And that's 3 tails.
Yeah, when he's using, like, 3 tails. So if Sasuke and Curse Mark 2 is stronger than 3 Tails Naruto, and Kakashi's like...
What if he means base, bro? Could you...
And then Kakashi's like, wow, you have like 100 times more chakra than me, when your 9 Tails thing starts to go a little bit crazy. And he's only referring to maybe the 2 Tails form versus Deidara, or something like that. Or maybe he heard the 4 Tails form from like Yamato's report, or something like that. Then it's probably very likely that Sasuke is a lot stronger than him. So, but yeah. So
cool. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching.
Why did they put Swag's body? I mean, his head over Madara's body. That ain't right, man. I know he's a Uchiha person, but y'all ain't got to do him like that. Anyway, y'all, that was Sasuke versus Kakashi. Who do y'all got? Let me know in the comments. My money is on Sasuke. There's not a lot that Kakashi could do. He has a few trump cards that he could maybe try, but literally 9 times out of 10, my money's on Sasuke. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.